Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with a bit of a fun video idea for Power Month, inspired by two things. If you can tell by the title, it's called Power Rangers What If. I'm sure you can tell what it's inspired by. It's inspired by the upcoming Marvel show. It might have already been coming, that sounded, but I mean it might have already premiered by the time I upload this. It depends on how long it takes me to edit. But the upcoming Marvel What If show that takes a look at alternate universes and kind of what ifs, but they're actual alternate universes, as well as Power Rangers hype on Twitter, who sort of posed the question of what if Power Rangers had a what if? And if you're not following me on Twitter, I definitely recommend it. It's a very fun account to follow for Power Rangers and Sentai fans. But that gave me an idea to do this video. Also in part because I had an idea for a video sort of similar to this. Not like, oh, I had the idea first, but back when Shattered Grid ended, there was a line by the emissaries that said, when we put the universe back together, it's not going to be quite the same. And that had me wondering, how might all of the universes we know change? We know we've already seen in the comic changes like the Omega Rangers and the new Green Ranger, but it made me think like, well, what would be different in Lightspeed? What would be different in Mystic Force? And so this kind of gave me the right platform for that type of video, because otherwise it would have been confusing. So I'm gonna loosely go through every season and jot off some ideas to you guys of some what if scenarios. Some are kind of based off of stuff that happened, kind of the inverse of that. Other stuff gets fanficky and it's stuff that I'm just kind of making up in my head. But let's go ahead. So MMPR, obviously, like I said, we already have the Omegas, we have the new Green Ranger, but it's got a bunch of possibilities. I mean, you do have the idea of what if Jason, Zach, and Trini never left. That was also presented, sort of, in the MMPR Forever Black storyline in the annual, where there was a Zach in the Ninja Ranger costume, so that was probably from a universe in which that happened, but that's a possibility. What if Kim never left? What if Kim ended up becoming Zeo Ranger 1 Pink? What if she ended up becoming Pink Turbo? What would happen to Kat? I don't know. What if Ashley stayed? My idea actually was, because I like Ashley fine, Aisha, sorry, the names are close. What if Aisha stayed? But my idea would have been, because I like Aisha fine, but I've always preferred Tanya, so I was thinking, well, what if Tanya was actually part of the Stone Canyon 3, and she was MMPR Yellow through Turbo, and I don't know, again, what. So some of these ideas don't account for what would happen to the person that was already the Ranger, but that's just kind of a what if idea there. And then the White Ranger, you know, we already saw that in the Coinless universe, Jason was to become the White Ranger before Draken screwed things up. That's a what if. What if Jason became White Ranger? What if any of the other candidates did? Richie. He'd be kind of boring, because I think they manufactured him. I can't be sure, but I think they used a spell on a mannequin and just made a human. Or Zach's cousin, or was it his brother? I don't know, it was his cousin, but what if he became the White Ranger, you know? What if they actually succeeded in having Tommy, you know, take off the VR Troopers franchise? What if they kept Masked Rider more tied to Power Rangers? Would we have had a mini Saban cinematic universe back in the day? I talked about that in my retro review of that. Then you go into Zeo. I think the main one is obviously the Gold Ranger for Zeo, thinking about like, okay, what if all these red herrings were, what if it was Skull, what if it was Tommy's brother, what if it was Billy? That's my favorite one, because even though I like Jason as Gold, I always kind of wanted Billy to become Gold Ranger, because he was like low-key the MVP of Zeo and Season 3 for me, because he did so much even without Ranger powers, and I wanted to see him become a Ranger. And there's like a story going on right now in the comic where Zordon wants to like fire Billy from being Blue Ranger for keeping secrets. What if he fired Billy, and then Billy went up to space with the Omegas, found the Gold Ranger crystal or whatever the powers come from, and became the Gold Ranger? That'd be cool for the comics. And then like when the Mystery Ranger shows up, it is Billy. But that's, I think, a main one for Zeo. Let's go Turbo. I mean, I guess, what if Rocky stayed? What if there was no Justin? I know a lot of people would like that idea. You could have, what if the original cast stayed on all the way through In Space? You know, I'm glad we got what we got, because I love the In Space case. The In Space, to be fair, the In Space cast, especially TJ. But there is a degree of me when I was younger that always thought it would have been more meaningful to have sort of the original cast stick through the end. By that I mean the Turbo cast, maybe not Justin. But that could have been kind of cool, you know, especially when Bulk and Skull found out. That would have been a little bit more meaningful since they knew them for longer. Going into In Space, this is where I get kind of fanficky. So the comic also in the world of the Coinless already is starting to do that. What if Andros got kidnapped? Because they show evil Andros. So that's an idea, obviously. But I had this idea of, again, we're getting fanficky, of what if, like, okay, the 4 Turbo Rangers go up into space and they meet the Red Ranger and the Silver Ranger together. Red Ranger's still Andros, but Silver Ranger is Adam. Because Adam wanted to continue to be a Ranger after they tried to let him go, and Zordon's like, sure, you can still be a Ranger, you can be Silver. Because why is the spot vacant? Because back when Zane and Andros had that huge showdown, he was thought to be killed, but he actually also got brainwashed, like Astronema. The reason I went for that is I like the idea of Zane and Astronema being an evil power couple as sort of a what-if twist on their little romance. Lost Galaxy, I think there's two main ones. There's obviously, you know, you could think, okay, what if Mike never fell in the crevice? But I more so thought it would be interesting of, what if, you know, when Mike came back, Leo tried to give him the saber back. What if he took it back? What if not Mike still fell in and became half Magna Defender or whatever, but what if Mike took it back, he took up the mantle of Lost Galaxy Red, and then Leo becomes Magna Defender. Like, Magna Defender and Leo shared kind of a connection, and he could also say, like, you know, that was a noble sacrifice of you to give your sword up. You know what I mean? And then he gets Magna Defender powers. That could be cool. There's also obviously stuff with the Pink Ranger, because if I remember right, the deal was almost set that Cassie was going to become Lost Galaxy Pink, but it fell through last minute, so what if Cassie became Lost Galaxy Pink? Well, then what happens to Corone? I'm pretty concrete about the fact that Cassie was supposed to be pink. I think that, again, was almost a done deal. There's always been rumors that they were going to do an in-show exclusive Purple Space Ranger for Corone. I don't know how true that is compared to the Cassie thing, but that's what you could do there in this Elseworlds. Cassie becomes Lost Galaxy Pink, and then Corone becomes Purple in Space to fill in for the Space Rangers. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, Lightspeed Rescue's another one where I'm gonna get fanficky. So this one's, what if Ryan was never kidnapped? And what if he never started the fire making a cheesy pita? What if he never worked for corporate? Well, I would have that so Dana, in that universe, Dana is red, and Ryan is yellow, male yellow, to start. He eventually becomes Titanium. Pink Ranger is an original character, and I guess after, you know, Ryan becomes Titanium, Kelsey can come back, I guess. I mainly just wanted to get her out of there because I don't like Kelsey. She always just annoyed me. What about Carter, though? Hell with him. No, I'm just kidding. I don't remember the name of this dude in the Sentai Counterpart because I have not watched it yet, but there was like this pseudo, like, Ranger-esque ally character. I don't know how big of a deal he was in there, but I liked the idea of Carter being this character, and he's called Rescue Ranger, and he kind of travels all around helping these different branches of Lightspeed Rescue. Again, we're getting fanficky on this one. Time Force. Okay, Time Force. What if Jen never allowed Wes to be the Red Ranger? If you remember, they needed him to unlock the Morphers, and then after that, he was like, woo! And then he let her be a Ranger. Wait, strike that. Reverse it. But what if, like, after they unlocked it, she never let him be a Ranger again? So, as a result, Wes was motivated to be the one to find the Quantum Control Box. He becomes the Quantum Ranger and earns his right as the Red Ranger of that team as the Quantum Ranger. But what about Eric? You could do a similar story where Eric sort of comes around and helps them in the finale, and then, I say finale because I'm talking about this as if it's a show I'm writing, and then at the end, Wes gets to keep the Quantum Morpher, but Eric is gifted the Silver Morpher. He becomes the first Silver Time Force Ranger, because of Silver Guardians, get it? Before Joe does. That would be kind of cool. Wild Force, I had a hard time thinking of one for this. I couldn't think of any ways to change Ranger mantles, so I just kind of went off of the idea of what if Cole's parents were never killed by Dr. Adler, and Dr. Adler wasn't, like, jealous or whatever. I mean, he was still jealous, but he was like a normal person about it. So you have no Master Org revival hybrid guy, and Cole grows up normal, stealing this idea from the Sentai, and then he becomes a vet. So Cole grows up a vet, he's still Red Ranger, but he gets a more normal life. And then, so for the plot, maybe I would have it, instead of Master Org human hybrid, it would be about all these Duke Orgs sort of vying to see who gets to, I'm sorry about to say that in this way, but I can't figure out another way to say it, but take on Master Org's seed to become the new Master Org. I thought that could have potentially been an interesting idea. You also could maybe do something with Zenaku having bonded with that or something like that. I don't know, but I couldn't think of as many ideas for Wild Force. But let me know in the comments on any ideas for these. Ninja Storm. Okay, stick with me on this one. So, for a simple one, there was a Japanese exclusive, like, Yellow Thunder Ranger that was shown in Akiba Ranger. What if there was 3 Thunder Rangers, like there was 3 Wind Rangers, and there was a female, like, Dark Yellow Ranger? That would be pretty cool. Now, this is where I'm getting fanficky on this one. So, Tori, Shane, and Dustin, right? They survived the Ninja Academy thing. Cam helped save them. But what if, when Cam's saving them, they couldn't save Shane? Shane gets kidnapped. We're forgetting about Shane for just a minute, okay? Cam becomes Red Ranger. Okay, so then what about the Green Samurai Ranger? So in that arc, what if instead of Cam becoming Green Samurai Ranger, he brings his mom to the future, she becomes female Green Samurai, and then the actions of them in the present save her life in the present save her life in the past. So then you have, like, I was thinking of the movie Frequency, and then, like, at the end, the parents alive, so I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. But what about Shane? Shane can become Lothor's evil ranger, like the Shadow Ninja Ranger, based off of the idea of this black repaint of the Hurricane Red suit from the Hurricane Returns movie. That one got a little convoluted, but I was having fun with it. Dino Thunder, I actually had a hard time thinking of stuff. I was thinking, okay, like, well, what if White Ranger was good from the beginning, but, you know, whatever, that's kind of boring. And then I thought about, like, key points in the story. I guess you could do what if Trent stayed evil, but I was thinking about when Connor almost left because he wanted to pursue his own endeavors. What if Connor did leave and he was replaced by somebody? And that creates a potentially interesting scenario overall, but I tried to think it out more. Like, okay, so what if Connor was replaced by somebody that was ill-prepared and got himself killed in the line of duty, and Connor felt guilty, and then he goes on a quest to get the Triassic powers and rejoins the team with Triassic as his base form. Again, getting a little fanficky, but I was trying to think of a big way for Connor to return for that. SPD, I would say maybe like, what if Jack and Z were never orphaned and they grew up in the SPD sphere as well? You could do a couple cool things with that. I mean, maybe in that universe, for whatever reason, Sky's just red right away. Just take away his entire arc and he's just a Red Ranger from the beginning. Maybe make like Z blue or something? I always felt like she had more ambition. That maybe, you know, she would have wanted to raise higher in the ranks. So you could have her be blue and you can bring in like Sophie or Lena Song to be green or yellow or whatever. And you can have Jack also be that Ranger Prime thing that we saw from the What If from the comics that they haven't done yet. You could still have him be that. You could still be a part of SPD, but he always kind of had a restless nature. What if they used the Deca Gold suit for something? What if that was Z? That could have been kind of cool. We never did use that. To be fair, I can't stop that. It was on screen for like 1.4 seconds. But still, what if we did use it for something? Okay, Mystic Force. So as we know, Lian Bo got dragged down to Mystic Hell and got forced to wear the Korag armor. So what if instead of the Master dragging down Lian Bo, and I almost said Udana, Lian Bo and Udana survive, but as a last act of revenge before they're sealed away, he brings baby Lian Bo, or Bowen, down. He goes back to the past and gets baby Lian Bo. No, he gets baby Bowen down in the underworld before he seals it up. So you have Nick, not now Nick. Nick becoming the Korag, and then you have Udana and Lian Bo had another son, brother rivalry. You still have him become good at the end in the Firewolf Warrior, but it's kind of a twist based off of that one little mini story in the finale or the pre-finale where Nick had the Korag armor temporarily. Let's see, Overdrive, a couple of options. You have what if Mr. Hartford just became Red Ranger from the beginning? What if we didn't do Taizon and you kind of played with that and like Mac could have become Silver? Or maybe Andrew Hartford was Red at the beginning, like before he even recruited the other Rangers, and then he gets kidnapped, Mac has to take up the mantle just like in the main timeline, and then Andrew Hartford becomes Silver. But why would he need to become Silver? Because there's 6 Rangers. But also I thought of, what if, this is sort of based off of real life events, but what if Will became evil? Because if I remember right, there was that arc about him going undercover with Miratrix and Camdor. What if that wasn't an act? And what if he joined them and you have the evil Black Ranger for that whole series and that's why they needed a new Ranger? That could have been pretty cool. Or at least kind of make him roguish, like out for his own, like wanting to get the treasure for himself and you kind of don't make him a treasure recoverer, you make him an actual thief. But that could have been cool. And he could have struck out on his own, or if he stayed with Camdor and Miratrix, he could get like a cool power-up based off of their suits with like a blue armor. I don't know, something cool there. Jungle Fury, I'm gonna do like a switch. So, you know, in that one, Casey got taken over, and then Jared got taken over, spoiler alert, and then Casey became Red Ranger. But what if you swapped that? What if, you know, Jared is still a D-bag, but what if those actions resulted in Casey getting possessed, and we get a cool black and gold tiger version of the Daishi suit, and then Jared feels guilt over being a D-bag, and then he becomes a Red Lion Ranger. Another idea I had for Jungle Fury was based off of that comic I covered a while ago. It was this little comic included in the old Jungle Fury toys that said, like, Master Fant, Swoop, and Finn were the original Jungle Fury Rangers as the Elephant, Bat, and Shark Rangers. So I would say, what if that was true, but then they selected successors? So instead of having them be auxiliary Zords, you would meet, here's Master Fant and his student, the Elephant Ranger, and the student Bat Ranger, student Shark Ranger, and they'd be reoccurring Rangers, like in Dino Charge. RPM, I had a hard time of thinking of some good ones. There's like a basic bench one of like, okay, what if Dylan was the enemy and Tenaya 7 was Black Ranger? Like, it's just easy to swap stuff like that. I feel like you could have done something with Scott's brother. Like, what if Scott's brother became red, or he became gold, and he was actually out there in the desert? Or what if, you know, I have a lot of ideas that are just swapping the Red Ranger with the 6 Ranger, but I had a hard time thinking of a lot of ones for that. So if you have any others, let me know. What if they didn't do a sequel in Beast Morphers and it felt a little bit better to me? I don't know, that's just a personal thing. Samurai, that's another one I had difficulty thinking of, like, really interesting ones. The only ones I could think of was like, okay, what if Lauren just never hid, and we had female samurai from the beginning? That would take away from that twist, but then you could have a story about Jaden feeling like he's always in the shadow, and you could maybe have, you could have Antonio be friends with both of them. He still becomes gold, but he creates original ranger for Jaden. I don't know, remember there was that April Fool's Mauve Ranger or something? Make him that. Honestly, this isn't an anti-Super Megaforce thing at all, because I'm not a hater like a lot of other people, but I just could not think of any interesting ideas in regards to other than make it better and do more cameos and fan service. Other than that type of stuff, I was having a hard time thinking of different scenarios of stuff to do. So I'm going to have to come back to that one. The only one I could think of was, there was a theory when Robo Knight was missing that he was going to end up being Berazorg. I think that was his name in Gokaiger. They obviously had the footage for Dark Gosei Knight they wanted to use, but I think that would have been a cool twist. So that's my one what if for the Megaforce, Super Megaforce area. Dino Charge, you have a couple different options. I mean, like, what if Heckle became Dark Ranger in the show? I remember there was a rumor about that it was going to be Peter, you know, Peter Sudarso. That would have been cool. What if Koda's young brother, when he fell down or whatever, got saved or all that stuff, he got saved, he didn't fall down. Koda was the one that fell. But what if his brother, younger brother, wound up becoming the Dark Ranger? And there was also rumors that they were going to have, like, Chase's girlfriend become female Aqua. That would have been a cool what if. Like, what if Tyler's dad decided to pass the mantle on so he could be a regular dad? What if Fury was actually chasing him and he didn't just act like he was chasing him so he could stay away from his son? This is more based off of an idea I saw kicked around by some fans. This isn't like a huge life-changing what-if scenario, but there are some people that theorized that Kendall found the pink gem and it didn't bond with her, and that's why she was so jealous of Shelby. That could have been a cool way to enhance that story. That's kind of more like a how I would fix Dino Charge and not a what if, but that's what I was thinking of. Ninja Steel. A couple ones. You remember that one, like, I don't remember her name, there was like a tech girl that was like an ally to the Rangers. What if she became the Green Ranger? Because there was a Green Ranger suit used for a post-Ninja story involving Madame Odious' counterpart, but what if she got to become a Green Ranger just for an episode? But also, something that always bothered me, instead of making Brody gold, I would have just made him the other red. So you have the father and the two sons as the reds, and then I would have made Miek gold. And the reason he's all done up in the cowboy stuff and all this stuff is not because he's a country singer, and they never mention it again practically. It is because he's just kind of obsessed with Earth culture. And I think that would have been cooler. I would have had Mick be gold with that, and then just have the three sons be the reds. Beast Morphers, I kind of did a video about this, but I thought that it would have been cool if Blaze and Roxy were gold and silver. So I have the first season, they rescue him at the end, they become gold and silver for season 2, and they have to redeem themselves. What about Steel? You keep Steel around. I'm not a fan of Nate, so maybe... Ooh, where'd Nate? I don't know. Steel, you can keep him as their Beast Bot, because I still like Steel, but don't make him a human at the end. I prefer Robot Steel. Would have been cool. Blaze and Roxy as... There also could be a what if, like what if, you know, Blaze and Roxy stayed as gold and yellow or took back the mantles. But I think them as gold and silver would be the coolest option. What if they just did something with their characters? That'd be great. Dino Fury. I don't know about Dino Fury, guys, because we're so early days. Like, we're only halfway through the first season. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff I'm not thinking of, but I'll do a sequel to this video down the road, and I'll think of more ideas. But for Dino Fury, I'm leaving it there, because I couldn't think of anything super cool to do. Especially, like, since some of the stuff I was thinking about with the Gold Ranger, and we don't know with the Gold Ranger yet, so it could end up being true stuff, so I'm not sure yet. I'll use Dino Fury in the update video. Same thing with Hyperforce. I couldn't think of any what-ifs I really wanted to do, other than, like, if there was a whole altered universe. Let's pretend all these shows I just said were in one universe, that the Hyperforce Rangers weren't affected by it, but, like, they saw the effects of it. You know, because they're in hyper time or whatever, they knew what the original timeline was supposed to be like, but I'm not sure how it would change their stuff. I'm not sure. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on some of these ideas if you want to. I'd also love to hear some of your ideas for what if Power Rangers scenarios. Let me know in the comments as always. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications for our videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.